In this video, I created a list of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. These 30 will be decided from factors such as passing stats, MVPs, Super Bowls, and more. Without further ado, let's begin. Here are the first 10 QBs on the list. For the following QBs, we will graze through them quickly. Fran Tarkenton was a starting QB that played mostly on the Vikings from the 60s to 70s and led the league many years in rushing and passing. Despite MVP honors in 75, his 3 Super Bowl losses loses him some credit. Another QB who failed to win a Super Bowl was Jim Kelly at the 19th spot. In his much fewer seasons, Kelly would dominate the AFC and lead Buffalo to 4 Super Bowls. However, beginning from Scott Norwood's miss wide right, his Super Bowl luck wouldn't work out. Next up, we have some quarterbacks that played in recent times. Out of the big 3 quarterbacks in the 2004 draft, Philip Rivers is the best in regular season play, and Ben Roethlisberger also was a part of the 2004 draft. While Big Ben would not be the NFL's greatest passing leader over his 18 seasons, he would win 2 rings on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which boosts his overall rating. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is at number 16 despite being very young in his career. With accomplishments such as Super Bowl champ and MVP, his stats will only get better in the prime of his career. Russell Wilson slightly edges past the quarterbacks above because of his ability to throw, run, and throw on the run. Wilson played as the face of the Seahawks, leading them to 2 Super Bowls in 2 consecutive seasons. Now we head to some quarterbacks that played in an older era. At number 15, we have 49ers quarterback Steve Young, who mostly waited on the bench while Joe Montana triumphed. When Young had the chance to follow Joe Montana's steps, he didn't disappoint, continuing the Niners dynasty by dominating in the 90s. Next up, we have Terry Bradshaw. The blonde bomber had fairly underwhelming regular season stats for a Hall of Fame and MVP quarterback in the 70s, but come playoff time, he definitely showed up. With a steel curtain defense, Bradshaw led Pittsburgh to 4 Super Bowl wins. Heading back to the 90s, Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowls in the Cowboys. Despite having a lot of talent around him, such as Emmitt Smith in the backfield, Aikman was nevertheless an extremely accurate passer for the few times he threw it. Sticking with the Dallas Cowboys, Roger Staubach played with America's team during the 70s. Captain America was always known for being down, but assembling game-winning drives to win it. In 11 seasons, he recorded a total of 23 game-winning drives. Now we are in the top 10. We start this off with legendary Saints quarterback Drew Brees. Drew Brees is known for his incredible passing stats because in 20 seasons, he has the second most touchdown passes with 571 and second most passing yards with 80,000. The only player better? Tom Brady. Unfortunately, Brees isn't known for his playoff success, only winning 1 Super Bowl. For number 9 and 8, we head to the NFL before the Super Bowl era. Unfortunately, one of Cleveland's only legendary quarterbacks came all the way back in the 50s. That was Otto Graham, who in 10 seasons played in 10 championship games and won 7 of them. Another all-time great is Johnny Unitas, who played in the 50s to 60s as a Colt. Unitas was the Peyton Manning of his era, dominating the passing game with 40,000 yards along with a Super Bowl win. At 7, we have by far the greatest quarterback to not win a Super Bowl, Dan Marino. Marino was one of the first quarterbacks to put up really good stats. Playing for the Miami Dolphins, he was great at releasing the ball at a quick pace and reading defenses, and held basically every passing record at his retirement. However, the reason he is not higher is because, again, he failed to win a Super Bowl, losing in his 1 chance against the Niners. Brett Favre of the Packers lands at number 6 on the list. Many debate whether Brett Favre is better than Aaron Rodgers. After all, he's made more Super Bowls than Rodgers, made more Pro Bowls than Rodgers, and thrown for 10,000 more yards than him. However, while they both have 3 MVP awards, one stat pushes Rodgers slightly above Favre. Favre was infamously known for his gunslinging style of play, usually throwing inaccurate passes down the field for interceptions. He recorded 336 of them. Rodgers, on the other hand, also has a major problem. He always falls short of a ring at the end of the season. Besides from his 1 Super Bowl run, Rodgers has been knocked out of the playoffs, whether he has the best record, home field advantage, or even if he's facing the Lions. However, statistics-wise, Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks, with 475 touchdowns, a 103 rating, and 3 MVPs, along with the best touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history. The 4th best quarterback in NFL history is John Elway. Elway appeared on a mediocre Broncos team and used his talent and leadership to turn them into a dynasty. He led them to 5 Super Bowls and ended up winning 2 in his final 2 seasons. In addition, Elway executed many game-winning drives and won MVP honors in '87. At number 3 is Joe Montana, San Francisco's star quarterback in the '80s. Before Steve Young came along, Joe Montana would lead the Niners to a 4th Super Bowl dynasty with his West Coast-styled offense. That included 3 Super Bowl MVPs and 2 regular season MVPs. While playing alongside star Jerry Rice, Montana was a part of the famous game-winning play nicknamed the Catch. Peyton Manning earns a 2nd spot. Manning wasn't nicknamed the Sheriff for no reason. He was basically the offensive coordinator and the QB at the same time. Manning not only had a great arm talent, but he had an incredible IQ in football. Manning joined 2 mediocre teams, the Colts and Broncos, and gave them both rings. Finally, at number 1, who would it be other than the GOAT, Tom Brady? A lot of Tom Brady's statistical success comes from his longevity and great supporting cast. Brady holds many passing records in touchdowns and yards, and winning records in regular season and postseason games. But most importantly, he has a total of 7 Super Bowl wins, more than any NFL team has altogether. He has a pretty inspiring story, being drafted 299th overall and navigating his way to become the best quarterback of all time. Nobody can say that Brady isn't the clutchest quarterback either, keeping his composure in his 58 career game-winning drives. If you like the list, then expect some more rankings soon.